Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 18, Pṛthu Mahārāja, Milks Planet Earth. So yesterday we completed Chapter 17, right? So we completed with exact note. There was no discussion. Is there any point, question? You are most welcome. Else we move to Chapter 18. So some of the beautiful names which have come here. This is Dhara is the name of the Supreme Lord, who is Lord Varaha, and he is also addressed as Adisukara. Also, beautiful name of the Lord is, uh, other name of the Lord is Apannavatsala. Right. So these are like amazing names coming in this beautiful chapter. Apannavatsala, Dhara. And Mother Earth is repeatedly calling, you are the Dharmagya. Mahi is the name of earth, right? So like just like we have Urvi is also Prithvi, Mahi is also Prithvi. And very hard, I mean, in a way, very strong interaction between the Lord and Dharani. So very different chapter as such. Right, very different mellow. Sometimes we see the same husband wife having a lot of quarrel and something like that, very intense moments. So this is like that, quite intense chapter between Pṛthu Maharaj and Dharani Mata, right? Dhara and Dharadhara, right? And especially because of the children, it's very common. Out of बच्चों के लिए पेरेंट्स झगड़ना इज वेरी कॉमन. लाइक पढ़ाई कैसे करे इसके ऊपर भी झगड़ा हो सकता है. It's not just broader upbringing, just a simple thing about how to study can lead to something like that. Okay. Yeah. Any point, any other discussion point? Else we go to chapter 18. So chapter 18 is primarily divided into 3 sections. Here we see text 1 to 11. The earth advises Pṛthu on the method of milking her. How to obtain, right? How to obtain the rare minerals, the precious substances from the earth that is being instructed by Mother Earth herself. So text 12 to 28, Pṛthu and others milk the earth. So Pṛthu Maharaj and others, almost like 16 of them, they are going to milk the earth. And there we will explain who is the calf, what is the pot, and what is the milk. Right. So Mother Earth is milk, especially in front of the calf. So calf is required, pot is required, milk is required. Partha Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. Bhagavad Gita is spoken when there is Arjuna in front. And the milk is Bhagavad Gita, which is beneficial to everyone. But Krishna will not speak Bhagavad Gita without Arjuna. Right? So therefore, there is a need of the calf. And then finally, the closing section, text 29 to 32, where we see how Maharaj Pṛthu, he establishes various planned cities across the kingdom and thus takes care of his citizens. So we continue, text 1. Maitreya uvacha ittham prathamavidrishta rusha spuritamadharam punah avani bhita sanstabhyatmanatmana. Translation?
The great Saint Maitreya continued to address Vidura. My dear Vidura, at that time, after the planet Earth finished her prayers, King Pṛthu was still not pacified, and his lips trembled in great anger. Although the planet Earth was frightened, she made up her mind and began to speak as follows in order to convince the king. Hare Krishna.
So here, Dharani, she offered various prayers to Supreme Lord. But the Lord is not somebody who is pacified with words. He wants, he demands action. King Pṛthu was still not satisfied, and thus his lips trembled in great anger. Spuritam adharam. Rusha, spuritam adharam. Rusha means very, very angry. Spuritam is trembling. Adharam, his lips. Right? So, Lord's lips trembling, something remember? Damodarashtakam. That you know the Rudantam Muhurnetra Yugmam. So there also Lord's lips are trembling. So here, trembling out of anger, there is trembling out of fear. And thus planet Earth was all frightened. She made up her mind and began to speak in the following words to convince the king. Text 2. Sannicha bhivo manyum nibodashravitam chame sarvata saramadatte yatha madhukaro buddha. Translation?
Translation, my dear Lord, please pacify your anger completely and hear patiently whatever I submit before you. Please turn your kind attention to this. I may be very poor, but a learned man takes the essence of knowledge from all places, just as a bumblebee collects honey from each and every flower. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So now Dharani, she wanted to give some important information to the Lord, but the Lord is very angry. And now she is very skillfully satisfying the Lord. She's saying that, my dear Lord, please pacify your anger and hear what I have to say patiently. Why? Because there is an elaborate process of milking the Mother Earth. Currently, we know only one process, just the oil rig drilling, right? You just drill it and the oil comes out, and drill it and the gold comes out. This is the only gross, ghastly Ugra Karma method that we know. But there is a different method altogether. Please hear it patiently, my dear Lord. And the Lord may say, I am angry. Why should I hear? He said, I am very poor. And a learned man takes the essence of knowledge from all places. Just like the bumblebee collects honey from each and every flower. Right? Look at the words. Okay, yatha madhukaro buddha. Madhukara is bhora, bumblebee. Collects honey from everywhere, all the. So, the grace of speech here we can see. The situation is very tense. The Lord is very angry, Pṛthu Maharaj. And Dharani, she has in a way committed a fault. And she wants to pass on some information. But how gracefully Dharani Mata is using the words, right? And pacifying the Supreme. So the words are extremely powerful. Words can invoke action and reactions which are of, unprecedented caliber. Good words can evoke good actions. Bad words, the bad tone, bad intention can create a bad action. And therefore, one has to be very careful with what kind of words and what is the tonality of our words we are speaking. Just, analyze all our fights with friends or with wife, with the misunderstanding with the boss, with the colleagues. How we speak is extremely important. You see, your emotions, your concern, everything comes secondary. How you are presenting your matter. Dharani Mata is teaching this. how to present the matter with right words. Text 3. Asmin loke अथवा युष्मिन् मुनिभिः तत्त्वदर्शिभिः दृष्ट्वा योगा प्रयुक्ता च पुंसां श्रेयः प्रसिद्धये. Translation.
To benefit all human society, not only in this life but in the next, the great seers and sages have prescribed various methods conducive to the prosperity of the people in general. Purport: Vedic civilization takes advantage of the perfect knowledge presented in the Vedas and presented by great sages and Brahmanas for the benefit of human society. Vedic injunctions are known as Shruti, and additional supplementary presentations of these principles, as given by the great sages, are known as Smriti. They follow the principles of Vedic instructions. Human society should take advantage of instructions from both Shruti and Smriti. If one wants to advance in spiritual life, he must take these instructions and follow the principles. In Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one poses himself as advanced in spiritual life, but does not refer to the Shrutis and Smritis, he is simply disturbance in society. One should follow the principles laid down in Shrutis and Smritis, not only in one's spiritual life, but in material life as well. As far as human society is concerned, it should follow the Manu Smriti as well, for these laws are given by Manu, the father of mankind.
Yeah, it's a long purport. We'll read in sections. So now Mother Earth further says, to benefit the human society in this and the next life, the great seers, they have prescribed various methods which are conducive for people in general. Right. So Mother Earth says life is not experiment. There are great personalities who have awarded various methods for people in general. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that the Vedic civilization takes advantage of the perfect knowledge presented in Vedas. And this knowledge is presented by the great sages, gurus, and brahmanas. And there is a beautiful tripod of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So Shastra are these Vedas. Shastra predominantly consists of Shruti and Smriti. And Shruti and Smriti both are very important. Shruti are the Upanishads and the Vedas. Smriti are the supplementary Vedas. These are like, the additional commentary by the great learned personalities. And we have to take advantage of both of these. And this is especially recommended by Rupa Goswami. That one's devotional activities should be supplemented, should be backed by the Shruti and Smriti. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatrik Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpatayaiva Kalpate. Otherwise, without reference to Shruti, Smriti, and Purana, if one is conducting one's spiritual life, it will lead to Aikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpatayaiva Kalpate. It will just lead to Utpata. So these scriptures, they have to be consulted not only in spiritual life, but in material life also. And in fact, we begin with consulting scriptures with material life. That there are so many scriptures for the material life. For health, there is Ayurveda. For the different types of vidya, there is a Vastu, there is a Jyotisha, there is a Yoga, different parts of the Shruti Smriti which are directly benefiting the material aspect of life. And the same Shruti and Smriti are going to discuss about the spiritual aspect of life, and thus spiritual and material, both aspects should be benefited by the knowledge given in Shruti, Smriti, and Purana. Now, one of the most important Smriti is Manusmriti, right? Manusmriti, the few things are picked up on Manusmriti, and there is a particular image being created about Manusmriti. But Manusmriti literally means the law book for the mankind, which is given by the father of mankind. The word Manava comes from the word Manu. right? So Manu, in fact, the man also comes from the word Manu. And the law book by Manu is called as Manusmriti. Yeah, please continue.
In the Manusmriti, it is stated that a woman should not be given independence, but should be given protection by her father, husband, and elderly sons. In all circumstances, a woman should remain dependent upon some guardian. Presently, women are given full independence like men, but actually, we can see that such independent women are no happier than those women who are placed under guardians. If people follow the injunctions given by the great sages, Shrutis and Smritis, they can actually be happy in both this life and the next. Unfortunately, rascals are manufacturing so many ways and means to be happy. Everyone is inventing so many methods. Consequently, human society has lost the standard ways of life, both materially and spiritually. And as a result, people are bewildered and there is no peace or happiness in the world. Although they are trying to solve the problems of human society in the United Nations, they are still baffled because they do not follow the liberated instructions of the Vedas. They are unhappy. Two significant words used in this verse are asmin and amusmin. Asmin means in this life and amusmin means in the next life. Unfortunately, in this age, even exalted professors and learned men believe that there is no next life and that everything is finished in this life. Since they are rascals and fools, what advice can they give? They still they are passing as learned scholars and professors. In this verse, the word amusmin is very explicit. It is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will have a profitable next life. Just as a boy is educated in order to become happy later, one should be educated in this life in order to attain an eternal and prosperous life after death. It is therefore essential that people follow what is given in the Shrutis and Smritis to make sure that the human mission is successful.
Yeah. Further, Srila Prabhupada explains the tenets in Manusmriti. And sometimes the Manusmriti may appear, little different, but the point is that, there is exploitation which has to be avoided by proper protection. So Shastras enjoin that 5 personalities are very precious and therefore they should be protected. It is not that otherwise, right? And somebody may say, these are old thoughts, and I mean, only the 2% of the epistin files are just disclosed till now. And what we see is that wholesale across the board, there are big players, scientists, politicians, billionaires, they are all engaged in exploitation of women as a class, right? So sometimes the scriptural language may appear a bit restrictive, but the point is it is protective, right? Prabhupada says here, unfortunately, rascals means dishonest men, and Prabhupada's thrust on that in 1960s, are manufacturing so many ways and means to be happy and trying to create this kind of, the artificial situation in the society. Previously, we have elaborately seen that how when the cigarette company wanted to increase their sale in 1950s odd, they were wondering how to increase the sale. And suddenly, one person he came out with the idea that if you starve the 50% of the population from cigarettes, how can you think of increasing the sale? And then the owner of the company was shocked. He said that which 50% we are? And then he said, see, only the males are, the smoking cigarettes, and we are completely, uh, neglecting this part that the women are not smoking cigarette. That president of that company literally cried, thinking that his mother, sister, and, daughter, they are going to smoke the cigarettes. But the sense of profit took over everything, and they wanted everybody to smoke cigarette, including the ladies, including the female. And how to make that a very, the appealing drive? They said women's liberation. So this was the point. Women's liberation was born. And then, they hired very famous actresses. They were just, having wearing very loose clothes, having cigarettes in the hand. They were taking processions on the streets, just like, Harinam Sankirtan should happen in Kali Yuga. And they were saying that we are free, we are liberated, women's liberation. And the symbol of women's liberation was women smoking. And overnight, literally, the turnover of the cigarette companies were doubled. So, as such, the facade of women's liberation was there, but in the name of that, actually, there was a cigarette sale. And so many things keep on happening. You'll be really surprised to know. In Maharashtra, there is, now it is a bit controversial, so don't want to get into it. It is so ingrained in Maharashtra that I don't want to get into it. But just to tell you how it started, there was a newspaper which Maharashtra Times, Marathi newspaper, and they were really worried about the falling sales. The other newspaper were giving a tough competition. So they started that we have to ensure that they realized that the real the uh, law, the real decision makers in the house, they are the ladies. And if they can hook the ladies to the newspaper, it is very easy that people will continue with Maharashtra Times. And what did they do? You will be surprised to know that on the Navaratri day, they just started a competition that the day one will wear some green, day two, they will wear some blue dress, day three, and they decided 9 days, 9 colors. And their sales just exploded. They were taking photographs, and then society ka society, they were all the ladies, they are in that particular dress. And now, I mean, 10 years down the line, it has become like scripture now, that people will have that kind of a dress. They have found out some scriptural injunction or something like that, how the Devi is pleased by wearing that dress, those bangles, that tickly, and those kind of sandals, that kind of a lipstick. It has just gone to a different level of execution. So we have to very carefully analyze that, what is the propaganda and what is the cause behind that propaganda, right? And therefore, and when personality like Srila Prabhupada, when they see through all this, they become rightfully angry, and therefore these words will come out: the fools and rascals. Prabhupada says there are the important two words here are asmin and anusmin. That asmin means this life, amusmin means the next life, but the people have no faith in next life. Even there are big learned professors and scholars. There are professors of philosophy, and they say, yeah, this is the life, and they will quote this shastra, that shastra, this Charvak, they will quote Buddhism or something like that. And they say, yeah, that's it, this is the life, just enjoy it. The problem is you negate entire Bhagavad Gita when you say there is no life after death. Because the entire philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and the truth and reality is based on there is a body, there is a soul, and the soul is different than the body, and we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. And therefore, when you believe that there is no life after this life, then there is no need of spirituality, then there is no need of morality. There is just, you have to be smart enough to do all kind of corruption and not to get caught, because there is no superior authority. We are just simply a product of the matter. And this is how people are very thoroughly brainwashed. And ultimately what happens? There is life after death. Even person believes or not, whether person is theistic or atheistic, right? Somebody may jump from the 10th floor saying that I don't believe in gravity. I don't believe in gravity. Gravity will act irrespective of person's belief. Similarly, the laws of nature, Prabhupada's words, stringent laws of nature will act irrespective of belief, right? Whether I believe in God or doesn't, God exists, and the laws of the God exist, and then they will act, right? And thus they will, these pursuits, following such scholars and professors, they will waste the very valuable human form of life. They will lead the life in some rajoguna, tamoguna, born in some lower species of life, and the very valuable human form of life will be lost. And that's why Prabhupada at times is very angry with them, calling them fools and rascals. Right. This is anger of Srila Prabhupada, which is actually mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Text 4. Tanatishthati yas samyak upayan purvadarshitan avaraha shraddhayopeta upeyan vindatanjasa. Translation.
One who follows the principles and instructions enjoined by the great sages of the past can utilize these instructions for practical purposes. Such a person can very easily enjoy life and pleasures. Purport: the Vedic principles Mahājano yena gata sapantaha urge us to follow in the footsteps of great liberated souls. In this way, we can receive benefit in both this life and the next. We can also improve our material life. By following the principles laid down by great sages and saints of the past, we can very easily understand the aim of all life. The word avaraha, meaning inexperienced, is very significant in this verse. Every conditioned soul is inexperienced. Everyone is abodhajata, born a fool and rascal. In democratic government, at the present moment, all kinds of fools and rascals are making decisions. But what can they do? What is the result of their legislation? They enact something today just to whimsically repeal it tomorrow. One political party utilizes a country for one purpose, and next moment another political party forms a different type of government and nullifies all the laws and regulations. This process of chewing the chewed, punah punas charvitas charvitanam, will never make human society happy. In order to make all human society happy and prosperous, we should accept the standard methods given by liberated persons.
Dharani Mata, she further says, one who follows the principles and the instructions enjoined by the Shastras can live very happily and in this life and in the next, and can enjoy life and pleasures. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes that Mahājano yena gata sapantaha, following in the footsteps of great learned personalities, tat karma pravartanat. Right. We don't have to reinvent the entire wheel once again. No. Just follow the principles. And then there is the word used is avaraha, inexperienced, that every conditioned soul is inexperienced, and abodhajataha, and out of inexperience, they will whimsically waste their life without following the instructions. So, Prabhupada says here, this has generally become the norm now, that one government will come, they will enact certain laws, another government will come, they will just nullify all the laws and enact some different laws. And classic example is what is going on in the Trump, the administration. Trump is putting some tariff, the Supreme Court comes, removes the tariff, he is again putting the tariff, and it has just become a joke, right? And in the meantime, it is affecting lives of the people. And now to, just make sure that people's attention goes somewhere else, there will be starting of another war. And another industry will go on like that. And this is, Prabhupada says, this is how punah punah charvita charvananam is happening in this world. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Ji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.